Hey guys, it's Arlen of Awakened Sponda, and I'm coming on today because Mercury is fresh out of retrograde and it is moving direct now as of today. And I couldn't be more thankful. I held off on doing any kind of recording until we were clear and moving forward. I had such an intense retrograde this past time that everything kind of stopped, and that was the way it was supposed to be. I needed to just sit. And I see clearly now that I've gone through it exactly what it is. It's how it always is, though, right? When you gain that understanding that sometimes you just have to go through these things, then you're working along with the cosmos, and it doesn't feel like it's so against you. It's just what's happening, and it's what needs to be looked at. So this energy that the retrograde held this time was very much of like a death energy. It was in Scorpio, which makes total sense. Death and rebirth. Well, for me, it was like death on every level, as my grandmother passed during this time, which opened doors to a lot of family dynamic that I had to kind of to face, to look at. So that was an upheaval in itself. On top of it, my mother's longtime dog passed away, and I was with her for that, and that was a very, very hard and very sad to see. When animals pass, there's just this, it's so sad. But anyway, needless to say, there was that death energy, along with the fact that I got really sick when I came back from California. And of course, like, I don't take anything, and I want to put that out there because I want to make it clear. I don't take things when I get sick. I don't take the first, counter product, over-the-counter product. I like to let my sickness run its course. So it means drinking a lot of water. That means sitting still, not pushing myself, actually taking the time off, which drives me nuts, let me tell you. But I had to do it. I had to sit, so I meditated more. So I listened more. So, I listened to a few of the teachers that I follow. I did all kinds of things, I sat and did a lot of toning. I listened to a lot of frequency-minded music. And I tell you guys, all these things help. Our bodies, it's amazing the toning, what we can do to our own bodies as far as tuning ourselves, attuning ourselves. It's a natural healing tool that we have been so separated from. It's crazy. So anyway, that being said, I had a lot of time to sit, and that energy of death was just all around me, in me. I mean, I was so emotional. If you guys think that I'm a lot, you see a lot of my posts probably, and maybe you just think, oh, Arlen must be fine all the time. Well, no. I'm still in this human form, in this body, and I'm still learning about myself, right? I'm still doing this integration. We're going to be doing this until we leave this earth. You're not just going to reach perfection or this ultimate consciousness all at one time, right? So we go through things, and we flow. It's like phases of the moon. That's why the moon has those phases, and we always say significantly, like, or metaphorically, life is like the phases of the moon. It's constantly changing. So it's about that ebb and flow, which is what I want to get to. Because 2020 has been coming up for me a lot lately. The year 2020, obviously, I mean 2020, just the numerology wise, it's huge. Huge for partnerships, huge for balance. And the fact that since September, I've kind of mentioned this and talked about it a lot, is that feminine energy, that feminine aspect coming back into play in humanity on this planet. And that's the role a lot of us as light workers and teachers are here to bring in, usher in that feminine aspect. And when I say feminine, I'm not talking about just a woman. I'm talking about energies. We're talking about science, okay? But we've become so separated in the patriarchy that we live in, right? This logical mind thinking, everything's got to be do. That's enslavement, guys. When you're off balance, it's all about wholeness. It's all about balance. Let me just get that out there right now. What I teach and how I I guide people and help people is into self-mastery. It's into self. All is in self. Everything. Everything. And there's so many things in this world that constantly want to divide us. Constantly. Even a lot of the time it's these things we think we're doing right, right? Like I've noticed, you know, it could be anything from, you know, I mean, even in like a thing like your yoga practice, like, right? Like, there's so many different, it's almost like the church has denominations. Well, you know, in yoga, there's denominations now, you know? It's like, there's all these differences. People have their own, you know, they find their own ways in these different paths. But if you're getting stuck into this is the only way, this is all there is, this is the way here, if you're reading a book and this book is all you feel like this book is the way, right? And you haven't even written that book, well, I'm going to suggest to you, you need to go sit and meditate and go within, because the answers are all within us and align with the cosmos, as above, so below. And this goes back to ancient text, but we'll become empowered as we begin to draw in those aspects of ourselves, those lost, fragmented pieces of ourselves. And that is what I do with people. This is what my goal is when I, you know, do my sound baths, or when I'm any kind of healing work I'm doing with somebody, the journeying, the breath work, and the sound, all of it. It's to help you self-heal. I'm just facilitating a space for you to allow you to do the healing. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense, what I just said. But, okay, so here's what I want to say about going into 2020, because it is about this balance and coming into balance, right? This is a huge opportunity for us to manifest a new direction on this planet. And I'm not saying I think it's going to happen overnight. However, when enough minds become like-minded and we begin to manifest in that same direction, things change, energy shifts. And so 2020 is going to be huge, and I mean huge opportunity, as these energies are balancing out, for us to begin to start embracing the new paradigm. And the new paradigm of really bringing that feminine energy, that yin energy, however you want to say it, or you could say left, the right side of the brain, right? Because if we go into science, we got left, right brain. This goes down to there's so many layers of the same thing, or electrons and protons, right? Masculine energy would be the proton. Feminine is electrons. Mother Earth releases electrons. Everything, think about it. We've been separated so hard from Mother Earth through just the concrete walkways, through the cars, through the... This goes to every level. Our food, our everything we consume in this life, what we put first, really, above self, above this natural being that we are. Even, okay, so going into 2020, I really feel like right now at this time, before we get there, let me just say, I want to encourage you guys, after coming out of this retrograde, it is now time. We are being supported and encouraged in really setting some long-term goals. Long-term goals for not just the end of this year, but how it's going to look going through the end of this year and into 2020. If we want to see our manifestations come to fruition, this is the time, because we're coming into that more harmonious place, right? That creative place where we can really embrace it and trust it, because the doors are going to be opening up for us to really get in there, to make something new, something different. Not all these rigid little ways we've created, our little businesses and all this separation of everything. No, it's like a new paradigm. We're open to living out our perceptions, right? Changing our perception. That's one thing I will say. As far as myself goes, the way I teach and the way I first of all, I didn't teach for a very long time, because I just sat with things. I sat and I kept my mouth shut in many ways, because I wasn't quite ready. I just wasn't ready. But as spirit started to move through me and energy started shifting, my energetics started shifting, and that kundalini arose, many things changed, and my eyes opened in ways that I couldn't have imagined, right? Um, my consciousness began to truly expand. And as that, you know, and it's still, the initiations come after, through this process, the initiations occur. And what I want to say about that is initiations are everything. An initiation happens in spirit. It happens with you in spirit. It happens. There's nobody that's going to be giving you a piece of paper that says, here, you passed that test. There's nobody that's going to be out there. It has nothing to do with reading a book and taking a test and passing it, and we're paying for this thing over here or that over there, or being trained and all that. It has nothing to do with that. Yes, you can get trainings and you can learn some frameworks, but a true teacher teaches from experience. That means they've been through it. They understand it from their own perception, their own perspective. They've been there, okay? So many people we label teachers, it's unreal to me, and this past year has just been mind-blowing in what I've seen with it, all over the place. And even in places we call spiritual, or somewhere where we think that, oh, we're doing something spiritual, right? We give a lot of people these titles as teachers or gurus, or you know, even the psychologists, the doctors, this, that. We give all these people these titles, and these, like, we set them up over here, and it's like, but what are they actually teaching you? They're teaching something they were regurgitating. They're teaching something they read. They're saying the words, right? But you can tell a difference when you become more initiated and in tune. When you're more understanding your energetics, right, and have more awareness, um, you're going to be able to discern through all those things real quickly. Um, and I think it's important. And I think going into 2020, this is huge, because this is going to be a year for the artist, for the creator, the individual that's bringing you something different, right? Not something that they read, or not something they just, oh, it's something everybody, some new technique that everybody's going to be doing now. No, they're going to be, it's a technique they've been taught to give you, okay? It's unique, it's individualized, it's creative. This is how we're intended to be. This is how we're intended to be. Not the other way around, where it's like, you know, you got to pay for this to get this, or you got to, anyway. Where am I at? I don't want to get lost because I go straight through on these, so let's see. So yes, unique, fresh perception. So that's the ticket, because teachers like this, teachers who aren't teaching you what they've been taught from, you know, generations of learning this technique or this style of practice or whatnot. I mean, all those things are great. That's awesome. But it's a new paradigm, and there's some new energies coming in for us to align with. And, you know, it's up to us to do that, and create more of that unique unity. You know what I mean? We're all different, you know, and it's good to experience different things, new things. We get so stuck in these, we talk about the programs and how we run these programs, but we're also in charge of reprogramming ourselves every day. And we can do this actively by ebbing and flowing. Ebbing and flowing is exactly what that feminine energy is going to bring into balance. When we start acting in more of an ebb and flow, not only with our physical bodies, but with everything in our life. You know, we get so rigid, we get so stuck, and this is how we do things. This is how it's done. Maybe it's not. Maybe you need to cut that out, because maybe that's limiting you, and maybe that's stopping you from your growth. We got to start changing our perception and seeing it more this way. I mean, I'm talking even down to, I was at the gym earlier and I started thinking about this, and it's something. I mean, I don't want to upset any, like, you know, people who have, you know, their own businesses and their own studios and their own in gyms or whatever different things they have, because I work with a lot of these people actually. But my point is very clear, and I'm not ashamed to say it in any way, and I won't hold back. We get into these contracts with studios, we get into contracts with gyms, right? And it's all they say, so it really is just to keep you coming back, right? Okay, to keep you coming back, but it's also to keep money where it needs to be too. Let's just be real. As a business person, I know how it goes. But the fact of the matter is, that's not natural. It's not natural. That's not ebb and flow. And then you got, okay, so say you go to a yoga studio, right? And then you love your yoga studio, and that's great. You know everybody there, and awesome. Or maybe you don't. Everybody's different. But my point is, if you're just stuck, you're just staying there because you get that's another place you get stuck. You get stuck in this one way of doing things. Or maybe you only go to certain divisions of yoga, like maybe you just do Kundalini, or maybe you just do whatever else, other ones. Was it Jivamukti or whatever. Maybe you're just stuck in this, I like this. This is what works for me. This is what, okay, well, good, that worked for you, and that works for you, but you need to continue to expand out. And that may mean, for you, it may mean it might even not just be yoga. It might be like maybe you need to go check out the gym. Maybe you want to check out like something different for your body physically, or maybe you want to go check out some meditation. If you're doing, I notice a lot of people in the yoga world, a lot. Talk a lot of things, but the walk is very different because there's still so much division in the elements of what a yogi actually is, right? And when I say this, I'm just saying what I've witnessed myself and what I've been through, what I'm seeing, and what I've experienced. Because there's a lot of closed off places, and it's just like I said, it's the getting fixed in one thing, one way, one teacher, one this, one that, and acting like that there's nothing else out there, because you might be surprised when you start opening up to ebbing and flowing. Maybe instead of staying in that rigid, I go to this class at this time, this is what I do. Maybe try go somewhere else. Maybe something else came up that you heard about, and you thought, oh, that's cool. Oh no, I go somewhere else at that time. Maybe go try the different class. Maybe something's been tugging on you. You keep thinking, meditation. Maybe you need to go somewhere and find a meditation class. Maybe sound keeps coming up. And I'm not saying this because I do sound, but I am saying it. Go check out a sound bath. Go check out somebody doing some sound healing. There's a few of us out there in Charleston. Now, there's plenty all out and around, and, everybody's doing something different. Everybody's style's different. Everybody's way of going about how they teach, what they have to give, what they have to share, how they operate. It's all different. But you're not going to know that if you're just staying stuck at one, under just a few teachers or one teacher, or, open yourself up is all I'm saying. This is what 2020 is going to be all about. Change, flow, Maybe don't get stuck in a contract with somebody. I find it personally crazy that we get ourselves in contracts with anything a lot of the time. It's like, why don't we tie ourselves to that? That's not how we even naturally operate. It's all about movement, flow. I might flow over here one day, and I might flow over there another day. I don't know. That's to be expected, and it should be encouraged, because that's how we follow that trail, right? We follow spirit when we're listening. If we're just doing something because it's like, well, this is my regiment and this is what I do, and a lot in physical fitness, that's a lot of what it's all about. It's just, this is what I do. And yoga studios these days, guys, we all know, have become very much just physical fitness. And it really doesn't have anything to do with the yogi philosophy or anything like that. In philosophy, we don't need to we need to meditate. This is what I want to teach you guys. This is where I'm at with it. So if you come to me for anything, all I'm going to do is lead you back to yourself. Period. It's about self-mastery. It's about going within. It's about doing your work. just going to a class is going to make you like cleaner or better or more pure. It's not going to do it, right? I mean, a lot of it's just the same as anything else. But anyway, so ebb and flow. That's what I want to encourage in 2020. 2020 is also a lot, because we are talking about balance, we're talking about that masculine, feminine energy. And twos, it's all about partnership. So we're coming into like a really wonderful place. If you're wanting partnership in life, in your work, in your mission work even. And for me, I can attest to that 100%. 100%. Especially as a feminine as well. Support. That's what I need. I am not meant to do this on my own. And maybe you weren't either. And partnership can come in any kind of way. But having that support, that help, and that balance. And for me, and, especially with the feminine, masculine aspects. Now, unification, like I say, always starts within first, and then without. Without meaning in the physical form. But, so I want to encourage you in that. So it's a big year for teamwork and working together. Like really partnering with the right people, things. And it vibrate away. If something's not resonating with you, just let it vibrate away. It's okay. It doesn't mean it's bad, doesn't mean it's good, doesn't mean anything. It just means you're not in resonance. And you don't need to be like working with that place or maybe with that person or whatever whatever the scenario is. So yeah, there's that. And anyway, it's just going to be a really strong year, and I'm feeling it. And I know that everything I just went through currently had a lot to do with that, being prepared for 2020 and what's to come. And it's going to be big. I see it as big. I know it's going to be big. It's exciting. And I want to encourage you guys and support you guys and what you need, and support you in heading the right direction. If you have issues, now is the time to clear. We have one more full moon, which, I'm going to be doing a fantastic sound bath for that one. It's 12/12 on 12/12, which is awesome. Anyway, so we're going to have another full moon to do a little more clearing, letting go. Right now, from now up until the new moon, it's go time, man. Start putting into motion actively in your thought, in your feeling, in your meditations. And if you got to write it down, write it down. Get your intentions where you want them. What do you see your life moving towards? Where do you see this going? What are you going to manifest in 2020? How's it going to look? How's it going to feel? What are you going to do? Okay? It's time to think further along than just right now. Just this moment, which is, of course, present. Being present is everything. Okay, don't take away. I'm not taking away from that. What I'm saying is, you want to set your intentions for your manifestation, where you're going, and let the rest will fall into place. The rest will just come right along. That's how it goes. But it's time to get your mindset right and to start doing the work and the clearing. And if you're like me, I just went through major clearings and releasing and that's that with that. But anyway, I'm trying to think if there's anything else I wanted to say here, and I'm sure there is, but yeah, okay, so my biggest thing I just want to encourage is 2020, man, be the one to write the book, right? Be the one to start a new workshop. Be the one to start a whole new technique. Start your own technique. Create your own technique. I already got one in the works that I've been working on. I'll be implementing a lot more in 2020. Be the visionary. Take back your power. This is how, if we're all moving in this direction, we can't sit here and say anymore, well, it's just the way it's going, right? I find so many people, and I've even been guilty of saying it plenty of times, like, well, it's just the way we're going. It's the way things are. No, it's only the way things are because we continue to act in these ways. We continue to run the old programs instead of creating the new paradigm, the new way of doing things. It doesn't have to be rigid. It doesn't have to be so boxed, We've been very masculine, like I said, masculine dominated, and now that the feminine is coming into play, she is here. She's already here. I say she, but in essence, I'm talking about just that feminine energy into balance with the masculine. That's where true power is going to come in. And you know, energetically speaking, I mean, I work with tarot. I read tarot, so I'm very familiar with what's going on energetically in the masculine and feminine energies all the time. I'm constantly on top of that. Not only that, but through my own meditation, my own practice, and just feeling and listening and knowing and using my sensory, you know, and the cosmos are always our directors, and we want to be aware of the cosmos because they're there to support us, to guide us, actually, you know. Yeah, and that's why I'll also be doing a lot more. You'll find me doing a lot more moon sound baths and new moon sound baths and solstice, all the different, just when things are shifting more, because when that happens, you know, obviously it's affecting our energetics. And the best place you could be is at a sound bath, truly, like getting in balance, staying balanced, keeping it harmonized. That's what it's all about. I have a sound bath coming up this weekend at Bar 3, and we're going to be incorporating some aromatherapy, which is going to be awesome. I've been wanting to do that for a very long time because you're using another part of your sensory, and it's a really beautiful thing. I'm excited to see how it goes. And like I said, also I'll be having a really, you'll be hearing about the full moon one coming up in December as well, and that's on 12/12. And then more going into 2020. Like I said, just set those long-term goals. What is it that, where are you going? Where are you going in 2020? What are you going to accomplish? Who are you going to accomplish it with? Because we're not meant to do this alone. And some of us just feel fine on our own. Okay, well, you can keep doing this, but I'm rolling with what's going on. And I feel it within my body completely, in my energetics. But yes, the support and partnerships. Bring it on. And anyway, I love you guys, and I think that's what I'm going to wrap it up right there. So I wish you well, and any questions, comments, anything, you can message me. So as within, so without, as above, so below. Love is all it is. Everything resides right here. Meditate. Meditate. Don't take my word for it. Thank you.